Apologies to Tyler in advance. We'll see what happens. I've had this video for like almost 4 years. I gave it to my wife for her 60th birthday. And every time I use it, every single day that I use it, it's like a brand new day, like I've never looked at it before. And you change the settings and it goes bloop, bloop, bloop. I'm so not used to that. I'm so much more used to a computer interface. Okay, so Olivia, you got something you can bring in next week? Oh, what is the password? Fred, you got something for next week? You already did something, right? Is it on here?
No, I didn't want to make it.
Okay. Well, in the next couple of weeks, next week, let's try to get some stuff. Okay, I imported this the other day. The answer is yes, next week.
Okay.
Okay, and we're gonna do Lindy Hop Big Band Making Whoopee. Okay, I don't know what that means, but we'll. I'm going to come back to my folder. I just created this Making Whoopee folder, but what I'm going to do is open the Lindy Hop Big Band and select all of the files in it and cut them. It won't let me do that. Copy them. Back into the Making Whoopee folder, into the audio files. That way, when we get to import them, we won't have to copy anything. We'll just add them to the mix. You don't have to do that. The thing is, say you made Whoopee on this machine and you didn't copy the files into your audio files, you just added them to the Pro Tools mix, and then you just took the Pro Tools folder with you but left the original Making Whoopee folder with the audio in it, then when you open it on another computer, none of your stems would be there. So I've done this just because I deal with so many gigabytes worth of data that I just try to put it all into the same place and erase everything else, because I'm backing all of that data up onto a hard drive that's not in my computer and burning it to a data DVD, which hopefully will be stable for a while. So I'm copying all this data twice. I I've got hundreds and hundreds of these folders, so I just try to make it as concise as I can and as easy to search as can be. Now, we've mentioned this before, but I'll mention it again. You can bring the files in as tracks or as individual files. So what we do now is go to import audio, and it's gonna default to wherever you last were working in. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and select all of this stuff and add it. I don't have to copy it, I can just add it. And then I'm done. Now I'm going to put this to the clip list this time, and we're going to build our mix. But first, I'm going to look at the README file that showed up in here. Now the tempo is approximately 95 BPM. Now the reason it says approximately is because there's a lot of probably give and take in this sort of loosey-goosey performance. And it should be. Now, this says 20 wave files at 24-bit, 44.1 kilohertz resolution. I forgot to look at what our resolution was when I opened this. Okay, we don't care. So now, let's create, I don't know whether these are stereo or mono tracks. We're going to create 4 mono tracks to start. Now, also, I'm going to have a stereo aux input and a stereo master fader. Let's just add at the top the lead vocals. So did you see how I just grabbed that and dragged it over? Now let's just see what this is going to sound like. Now if I Alt-click here, I can change the size of all of the things at once. And it's a good shortcut.
Picture a little love nest down where the roses cling. Picture that same sweet love nest washing dishes and baby clothes. He's so ambitious, he even sews. But don't forget, folks, that's what you get, folks, for making whoopee.
Okay, listening to that, what would you say about anything? What would you like to see be better in terms of the sound? The level is really low, but we're just going to keep everything at its opening level for now. I might consider normalizing it, but I'm not right at this minute. I thought it had a lot of S's in it, and that's going to happen, but
picture a little love nest down where the
you cannot not hear it once you hear it.
Picture that same sweet love nest. See what a year.
Okay, sure. So you're wondering, perhaps, how we might do something about it. Well, let's take a couple things. Let's plug something in. Okay, so I'm over to my mixer, my plug-in. I've got EQs, I've got dynamics, pitch shift, reverb, delay, modulation. So I'm thinking that's a let's just see if we have an S filter on anything. I'm not seeing one. It's not working correctly, so that's a disadvantage. Where would you think the S's would be? Let's just pull this little bit out here.
Picture a little love nest down where the roses cling. Picture that same sweet love nest. See what a year can bring. He's washing dishes
It's more
and
AM
baby
radio there, isn't
clothes. He's so ambitious, he even sews. But don't forget, folks, that's what
To
you
make
get,
it worse.
folks, for making whoopee. Picture a little love nest down where the roses cling. Picture that same sweet love nest. See what a year can bring. He's washing dishes and baby clothes. He's so
Okay, I could do that forever. Let's do something else. All right, what might be fun to hear with, we've got piano, kick, snare, overhead, bass, electric guitar, piano, trumpet 1, trumpet 2, trumpet 3, trumpet 4.
Bass. This was a guitar.
I don't know if there is a bass. Maybe that's a bass drum or maybe it's a bass guitar.
Picture a
Sounds like
little
a drum.
love nest down where the road
let's go ahead.
Sound like it's in two different keys.
This is jazz. I'm gonna make a send. And we're going to use just a real small room. Okay?
Picture a little.
I didn't send anything to it. That was so short reverb.
Picture a little.
Okay. Dr. Durant forgot how to work the stuff. Okay, a little reverb.
Picture a little loveliness down where the roses bloom. Picture that same sweet loveliness. See what a year
It's a little longer than I had planned. Now let's go with our basic small.
Picture a little love nest down where the roses
You
cling.
can hardly hear that, but it
Picture
does
that
sound better.
same sweet love nest. See what a year can bring.
A little more.
He's washing dishes and baby clothes. He's so ambitious, he even sews. But don't forget, folks, that's what you get, folks, for making whoopee.
Okay, that was quite enjoyable. What would you like to add to that?
Piano.
Fine. This one we have to make a stereo because the piano's the only one in stereo. Just has to be different. We are also gonna add a reverb to that.
Picture a little.
Oh, I didn't put the track in. Okay, so now I'm going to take the piano and just drag it over to its stereo track. We'll move it up there so everybody's together.
Picture a little love nest down where the roses cling. Picture that same sweet love nest. See what a year can bring. He's washing dishes and baby clothes.
Now, just for kick'ems, let's go to air stereo width. So we're just going to automatically give it some width without doing anything to it. Add width to mono signal. Okay? Let's just.
Picture a little love nest down where the roses cling. Picture that same sweet love nest. See what a year can bring. He's washing dishes and baby clothes. He's so ambitious.
Okay, I'm feeling like the voice lady needs something. All right, I'm really enjoying just this 3 track deal, just for funness. Let's go directly to the lady track, and instead of doing this EQ, let's do some Dyne 3 de-esser. That's what I was looking for before. Sorry, here we are with our de-esser. Now we want to use female DS or female DS high frequency. I'm thinking high frequency. What do you think? Let's just hear. Let's just listen.
Picture a little love nest down where the roses cling.
Okay, you heard that first S. Now let's hear it with just female DS, not the high frequency.
Picture a little love nest down where the roses cling. Picture that same sweet love nest. See what a
do you
year
think?
can.
Wasn't much difference.
Either one feel better? First one?
Picture a little love nest down where the roses
See, this rolls off instead of like all the frequencies, it rolls off at the high ones.
See what a year can bring. He's washing dishes.
Now you can hit the bypass button and hear the differences.
So ambitious he.
Okay, sometimes you have to not listen to it for a while, just so you don't listen to it 80 zillion times in a row. Now, what I'd like to do is also on the lady track is, well, let's do a little experiment first, just for fun. Okay. I'm just gonna solo this, and I'm also gonna copy it and paste it down here. Let's try that again. Okay. Guess I don't know how to. That's what I did. Control C. All right. Now, you've heard of words like chorusing and delay and stuff like that. So let's look at this on a real basis. I'm going to make these really large. Would you mind getting out of the way? Okay. So here's our two lead vocal parts. I'm going to roll it out, and I'm just going to move the second one. Let's see. I'm going to change my grid to represent minutes, seconds. And my nudge is also going to be minutes, seconds. So I can just hit this button here and nudge the highlighted. Shift. Okay, I'll just do it by hand. I'm going to move it over 0.005 of a second. See if you can tell the difference, all right?
Picture a little love nest
Completely.
down where the roses cling.
Now there's no reverb on this or anything.
Sweet love nest. See what
I kind of like that. Okay. How about half that amount? All right, this start time is 0. This start time is 2/100ths of a second later. Let's make it 1/100th of a second after.
Picture a little love nest.
That sounds more phasey.
Down where the roses cling.
Okay. That was a 100th of a second. How about a 10th of a second?
Picture a little
Very
love
noticeable.
nest. Down where.
How about a 10th of a second?
Picture a little love nest. Down where.
Okay, now, when does it become around?
Picture a little love nest. Picture a little down where the roses cling.
That's a
Down where
delay.
the roses picture that same sweet love. Picture that same sweet love a year can bring. See what a year's washing dishes and baby washing dishes. He's so ambitious. He even so ambitious. He even smokes. That's what you get, folks, for making. That's what you get, folks, for making.
What?
For making whoopee.
Okay, now our expectations are met. Now, what if we wanted to make whoopee?
For making. That's what you get, folks, for making whoopee.
All right, let's take this making whoopee in the second part and pitch shift it a minor third up.
That's what you get, folks, for making whoopee.
That wasn't quite the right note at the end.
That's what you get, folks, for making whoopee. That's what you get, folks, for making whoopee.
It's just the last, everything else would work, but the last note, let's see what that note should be. We'll pitch shift it another half step up. There you go.
For making whoopee.
Oh, come on now.
For making whoopee.
There you go. I love that somehow. Now, beyond the de-essing, let us compressing to get all that we can get. We'll use a different compressor this time. We'll pump it. How about that?
For making whoopee.
Oh, like that. Okay, back off of that.
Picture a little love nest down where the roses cling. Picture that same sweet love nest. See what a year can bring. He's washing dishes and baby clothes. He's so ambitious. He even souls. But don't forget, folks, that's what you get, folks, for making whoopee.
I'm sorry, that was too funny for words. Okay, what would be the next choice for you? We've apparently kilt off the. Let's do trombone 1. That's got to be fun.
Oh.
Picture a little love nest down where the roses cling. Picture that same sweet love nest. See what a year can bring.
I don't hear trombone at all, do you? Oh, good. You gone, trombone man. Well, let's do us. You want alto or tenor?
That's a,
Alright, fine. This.
Picture a little love nest.
Hear that? I think we're gonna have to normalize that, or we're not gonna hear it at all. Oh wait, you can hear everybody else in the background. That's terrible. Maybe we'll back off that. Let's go -6 instead of 0 dB. Now the sax doesn't have any reverberation on it, and that's just very sad. Oh, hit the wrong button. That makes it a little better. Okay, now let's add let's just add the overhead. Just get a little baby drumming in there.
And baby clothes. He's so ambitious, he even so. But don't forget, folks, that's what you get, folks, for me. Okay, there's a bunch more tracks in there, but I don't think I want to do them today. The resources are in there if you want to fool around with that a little bit. Do you have any questions about what I did today? Okay. So if you could bring me something in that I could evaluate, either a Pro Tools file, which you could do here, or something that you do in the local studio.
does it have to be like voiced, or can it just be like a normal
Can
track?
be anything you want to do. My expectations are low and my requirements are too. So, yes.
For our final project, is there a time requirement for it?
No. We usually trot out like 3 minutes. But if it's not 3 minutes, if it's got a little more going on in the track department, that's okay too. I really want to see evidence that you can record something live, at least one thing. Now, if you want to put other elements into it that you've taken from other things, that's okay too. And to be able to mix, get the volumes right, get the pans right, and master it down. And by that, I just mean render it so we can hear it as a stereo file. This version of Pro Tools doesn't do multi-channel stuff. You would just have to send it out as separate outputs, so it would depend on your, like this only has 2 outputs, so that's kind of where that's at. But the high definition Pro Tools is definitely multi-channel, and Reaper is multi-channel. Reaper's not an expensive thing at all. The thing about why do I teach Pro Tools, there are lots of other options, okay? Why do I teach Pro Tools? This is a required course in music business. Pro Tools, doesn't matter what you've heard. To the contrary, it is the industry standard. So that's what the big studios use. Can you do things without Pro Tools? Absolutely. You can do them well. You can do them just as well as Pro Tools in a small scale, and that's all we're required to do here is something on a small scale. Do things on a large scale is a super expensive prospect. We do have some bigger Pro Tools studios here in town. I think Dolphin Street is a Pro Tools studio. I'm not sure who else. Big studios are not the norm anymore. Vanity studios, small studios are kind of, because you can get a really good product without spending $1,000 an hour in the recording room. What you can't necessarily get cheap is a qualified sound engineer. So, become one yourself. I really respect people who are involved in sound recording and stuff. I think it's a really high calling. But it's a hard one, and it was one that I chose not to pursue. I got into recording at a young age, just barely even a teenager, and have done it pretty much all my life in one form or another. But I'm a composer. I don't want to just really work with a ton of other people's music all day long. I'll do it for money for 3 hours, but not for 12 hours. You'll end up being dehydrated. Okay, I really don't have anything more, and I don't see the need to just hang out on a Friday afternoon, Let's find something good to do. If I can help you personally, though, I'm here. I'll stay, answer any of your questions, help you with anything that doesn't require changing a tire. But I can make a phone call. I do know how to change a tire, and I have done that. I was once a poor person. Y'all have a wonderful weekend. Stay out of most trouble if you can. Making whoopee. Touchdown. This is the last class I teach as a 50-year-old person. Next week, 60-year-old person.
Oh, really?